So, I'd like to welcome everybody to Friends and Strangers podcast. I go by the name of LAVA The FreshNerd, MC, producer, content creative person from Rochester, New York. This podcast is a hope to kind of just bring us a little closer. I feel like we all one step away from being either a friend or a stranger. So the goal is to have, I know a ton of awesome people, and I don't know a lot of awesome people. So I want to kind of have a combination of both, interview them, get the insight on things, and, go on from there. So I hope y'all enjoy. This first episode is my good friend of mine, super dope, talented MC from Rochester, New York. Currently has a mural of himself down at the park. The guy is amazing. Moses Rockwell. Super dope dude. So I hope y'all enjoy. Welcome. Peace.
All right. You might have heard me murdering the kid just now, but ignore it.
Murdering the kitchen?
Yeah. How you been, man?
Been okay.
Good.
Just trying to not overwork myself to death.
Yeah, that's the thing. All right. Well, welcome to what I call the Friends and Strangers podcast. And the whole goal or the thought was, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of awesome people, and I don't know a lot of people. So the goal is to try to meet and bring on as many of the awesome people that I know and kind of let them talk about themselves, share what my platform is, so on and so forth, who they are, all the awesome stuff that they do. You are one of those awesome people, and I'm super thankful
Steve,
that you were available and were interested and willing to do this podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad to be talking to you, man. It's been a while.
It has. I was just thinking about I feel like the last time I saw you was at a bar or something, and it was like a pic of us with like me, you, Hassan, True Star, and you had like this weird look. You did like the weird thumb thing.
We were my thumbs are really weird. Yeah, that was Hassan and Kev's album release show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. That may have been the last time I saw you.
And that's probably what
I was thinking, but I was at the barbecue that you and Jeff put on. But that was probably like a couple of years prior.
Yeah, I think so. Because I was by myself when I seen you, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that was a cool night at a Skylark Lounge.
Yeah. Yep, I think Scribe was there. Yeah, so all right. The way I start these off, I got two questions I want to ask you, and love to hear your thoughts on it. The first one is, who is one stranger that you would say you're proud of or inspired you in any way?
Stranger as in someone I've never met?
Possibly. Someone you could say you don't know. I mean, you can meet people and not know them.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably cliche, but I feel like I should bring up Doom. Doom passed away earlier this year. Well, I suppose in October, they say.
Yeah, a couple days after my birthday. I mean,
that's. Oh right, yeah.
But that's
your birthday is by around Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's someone I've never met, but has had like a profound effect on my life and probably will continue to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of always modeled my approach with emceeing and with writing and with like myth making.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can kind of see Doom footprints in MCs.
Oh yeah.
Like I could definitely see it in you. Right. But yeah, I can definitely see that about you. And you're able to do things with words that remind me of Doom a lot. So
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Second question would be, who is one friend that you would say you're proud of or inspired you?
I think I'm very much inspired by my friend and bandmate Gary Lamar Crocker.
Okay, that's such a bandmate name.
Yeah, fully. I mean, he's just like an all-around talent. Plays the drums, keys, sings and raps and writes poetry, and can kind of just do anything related to music and art. And I learned a lot in the time I've known him, sharing a bandstand and trading verses back and forth for however many years it's been.
Okay.
Yeah, I really value that friendship, and I get a lot from it.
Awesome. So, we kind of skipped it, but kind of introduce yourself, and if you don't mind, the cliche, kind of give me your path to where you are today.
Sure. My name is Anthony. I was born in, well, most people refer to me as Moses. I was born 1989. Been rapping since I was 9 years old, and I'm now 31. So I don't know. I've been rapping for a lot longer than I wasn't.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
And I don't know. It started off just like writing stupid songs on my own, and then eventually I started recording them. Then eventually started playing shows around town, and then had a few chances to hit the road and travel in and out of the country. And I think I've recorded like 11 albums, something similar, maybe 12. Yeah. I don't know, kind of been on the same path for a really long time.
Yeah. It's kind of dope. I've known you for quite a while, and you've never appeared, weirdly, like once you got on stage, you never appeared in terms, if you don't know Moses from music, you can kind of say like, man, he's kind of reserved, introvert, stick to himself. But if you see him on stage, it's like, he's probably the greatest rapper I've ever seen, and he made me believe it. So like, can you kind of talk about how music and what you've been doing influenced your personality, and how you was able to maneuver? There are two different dynamics when you think about it, like super cocky guy, kind of reserved guy. How do you maneuver?
It's hard to articulate. I feel like a lot of creative people, that is what their experience is, like you spend most of your time making stuff up when you're alone and you're unsure of it, and you're everything is inside of your head. And then when you finally have a platform to like share your ideas, it kind of is just this explosive sort of cartoonish, chaotic expression of it. And it's like it, for me personally, it always catches me off guard, because I know what it's like to just be in my shoes all day long, and then when I finally get to like share my ideas and my songs and jokes or whatever, it just happens the way that it happens. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's still authentic and it's still genuine, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? Like, I'm wondering too. I'm wondering the same thing.
Yeah, that's the plight of the creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I don't think there's a creative that can say they're not insecure.
I hope not. I don't think I want to meet. I don't want to meet any creative people that are 100% confident in the thing they're making all the time.
So like, I caught myself being a journalist and like did some research, which is weird, researching people that you know. Mm-hmm. But like, I was searching for a bio, and this is what I found: MC beat maker from Rochester, New York, self-depreciated emo rap.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Well, the self-deprecating stuff is something I really started leaning into like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Just got to the point where like all my raps were very braggy, and a lot of people's raps were just completely made up of bragging.
Are you meaning like you're the greatest? I have the cleanest shoes, and my car is the biggest.
Yeah, all of those things, and I mean, it's cool. Like it's still kind of fly, but I just something clicked where I was like, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of that from now on. And I don't know. I feel like what listenership I have developed, I think I kind of owe to making that decision, because maybe it's just a little more relatable to people.
Gotcha.
Like I don't want to hear anyone bigging themselves up like that all the time, so I'm just not gonna do it. It's also, I don't know, I think some people kind of find it funny.
Yeah, so about that, I think you're probably one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
Oh, wow. Thank you, man.
And I also think you probably have the funniest social media presence on the planet.
Oh, that rules, man. Thanks.
Like, I know you're a huge fan of comedy, but kind of talk about how that happened. And is it intentionally, or is it just who you are, or like a mix of in between?
I don't know. I kind of always been obsessed with jokes and funny stuff. I'm a middle child, so I've always felt the least understood and the least heard in my house.
Are you J. Cole?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know any J. Cole songs, I'll be honest. But
there's a middle child one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bad attempt at a pun.
That's hilarious, because I don't know. I've never really truly done the research, but I mean, based on conversations I've had with people that are also the middle kid, there's a lot of similarities as far as like the role they play inside the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of like being a wise ass, is like, you know, just like the need for affirmation and attention and being understood.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Plus, you know, you get to make people laugh. It feels real good. I don't know, it's kind of as simple as that.
This is true. And I guess you gotta kind of like be quick on your feet, because you're getting attacked from the elders, and you gotta kind of stand your ground, because you gotta like prove to the youngers, like
Yeah, it's kind of like an intellectual boxing match.
Yeah.
Like, you might be bigger than me, but my brain is better than yours, so fuck you.
I am a middle child in a kind of broken family, but not really. I grew up the oldest. Found out I had elders, so I have a weird, crazy dynamic that I won't even get into.
Understood.
But so like the last project, I guess I'll start with the latest and go back. Cool. I have it as The Unfortunate Case of Moses Rockwell.
Moses Rock Salt.
Rock Salt, yes. That makes it even greater. Especially that I messed it up.
It's okay.
How do you, with what? Like, explain.
I think I just went into it being super aware of that. It was like, man, I've made a lot of albums. But, you know what? I don't know. It was like either 10 or 11, maybe 12. I'm not positive. But I remember thinking, like, I don't want to just talk about myself for 45 minutes again. So I made up a character named Moses Rock Salt, who's just basically a hyperbolized cartoon version of me. And I don't know. I just went at it from that angle, like, so I could be more ridiculous and not feel super self-centered about writing another rap album.
What I don't want the cliche question, but what keeps you inspired to keep doing music at this point? Not saying that sounds like you failed in life. Like, why are you still doing it at this point? But no,
no, I mean, that's a great question. I wish I could answer that. I don't know. I don't really know that I am inspired. I kind of just don't know how to not wake up every day and think of raps. You know, it's just so like burned into my personality at this point.
Gotcha.
And I haven't really figured anything else out. Like, I don't know what else to do. It's like a mistake my body's making.
A mistake. I know for me, like, music is an extension of like my feelings and lack of ability to communicate them.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to like be able to say things in music that I can't say to people typically. Like I'm super sad. I can somehow put that in a song, but I can't say it to someone. What would you say your music is aside from that, an extension of? Is it anything else?
I think it's pretty much exactly that. Yeah, like I don't know. There's not one person I can go to talk about how I feel. So I'm gonna tell hundreds of people at once, or however many. You know, it's like going to Twitter to complain about shit.
Yeah.
No one really wants to hear this from me directly, so I'll just do it in this way, and maybe you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. You
know. So, see, let me go back. So from Mortis, that is such an awesome name. Mortis Rockwell. Subterranean Sweatpants.
Oh yeah.
I was a fan of that one.
Thank you. I like that record.
I kind of talk about like the transition from like solo MC on stage, one mic rapping you're behind to like musicianship. I remember seeing you with the tall bass, and just diving in different sounds. How did that happen?
I don't know. It's like you work at one particular skill, whether it's music, whether it's like musical. Sorry, what was I trying to say? Yeah, it's like you work at one thing and then you feel like you get good at it and you want to like maybe improve it in a way that you haven't delved into yet, or like try something else entirely. For me, it was like, you know, I started making beats when I was like 14. I had been rapping for a few years before that, and then like once I felt like I got kind of good at those things, I was like, all right, well, I can't just keep beating the same, you know, drum forever. I gotta figure something out to prove my competency as a musician, and as a creative person. So like, you know, I was in the band for like 4 or 5 years. That was like, you know, kind of a whole new skill set to develop. I started doing stand up a little bit here and there, and you know, trying to get good at that. And then I don't know, maybe my goal was to eventually like, you know, bring all those things into like one project eventually. And
one thing.
Yeah,
that's literally my plight in life.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know, human beings are probably capable of a lot,
right? And so, kind of subject to.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with trying to get good at a bunch of stuff.
So the band experience, I'm like a huge, like that was one thing I've also dived in the last couple of years. It's just musicianship. I played instruments as a kid, put them down, and then picked them back up. So I'm highly intrigued and like enamored by that area, especially I feel like in hip hop, the musicianship. Well, I don't know what we would call hip hop today. I feel there was more musicians in hip hop / singing more than stuff than it was before. But I feel like that was an area that was highly missed. Like you can kind of think of like maybe 1 or 2 rappers that implemented instruments, live instruments that you know of.
Well, yeah, I mean, some people don't even consider rap to be music.
This is true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a rah sound for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But death metal is.
yeah, that stuff is whack. in comparison, I mean. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think that rap writers are probably the best songwriters. We write the most words. Our songs are probably the most complex.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we do is probably the most complicated.
That is dope.
So I always resented the idea that we're not musicians just because we're not playing instruments, you know?
Yeah. I sadly I didn't view rap to that extent until recently. Like, oh, well, we're kind of dope. Crazy, right? But yeah, we are truly musicians. I do love the musicality of like beats with flutes and live instruments versus bleeps and bloops sometimes. But bleeps and bloops are cool too. So
yeah, I think they both are very valuable, you know. Cause I've done both. I've done like sample based music. I've done stuff with live bands. I've done sort of a mixture of the two, where you have like programmed drums and then like sampling recordings of actual playing, which is basically what's happening
right.
In sample based beats anyway. They both kind of have like a real sort of particular and specific thing about them that makes them special, you know.
Yeah.
I've worked with classically trained musicians, and it just didn't really smack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder why, and it's because they don't have the education that we have, like growing up in our basements, just like sampling old CDs and records and stuff. You know, there's like a funkiness to that they can't fucking teach you at Juilliard or whatever.
Yeah, there's a magic to a kick that's off. It's like a step or something like that.
Yeah.
Which classically I could see. No, quantize everything.
Like, totally. I've been like reamed out by like those musicians I've worked with that are like, no, this is incorrect, or this is like,
key.
Yeah, like I don't even know what any of that stuff means, but I'm like, I don't know. I think it sounds good the way that it is, and it's supposed to be kind of fucked up, and that's what makes it cool. So
yeah.
I mean, your professor might have some qualms with it, but professor's never been in the basement, you know.
Thanks. Born and raised in Rochester, right?
Yeah, I've never really lived anywhere else, man.
How was Rochester from the eyes of Moses or Moses Rockwell?
I don't know. I kind of get asked that once in a while in interviews and stuff, and I never really know what to say.
I mean, like,
because I don't really have anything to compare it to, really, as far as like
living.
Yeah, or like drawing creativity or ideas from, I think no matter where I lived, I would still mostly just live inside my own head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd feel just as isolated and just as ill-fitting as anywhere. But I mean, I'm sure where you live, no matter who you are, where you live is going to affect your output in some way,
So you never really thought of like Rochester as the entity like everyone else does, like, oh, Rochester is this and that.
No,
kind of just move through.
I think locale and like regional pride is kind of lame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's cool to like love where you live and love where you're from, but like as far as who I am as a musician, I really truly can't say that it has a lot of influence on it.
That's kind of dope. So like you kind of got some dope accomplishments. One being there's a mural of you.
That's in pretty fucked up, right?
Man, I don't know who thought of that, but I found a tweet from J is the name. But it said, well, I've never met in person. I've been a fan of Moses Rockwell music for a while. So dope to see him as part of the Wild Therapy and why this is Triumph of Music. Mural in MLK Memorial Park. You deserve it, homie. Wow. And your response was, wow, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. I still can't really wrap my head around it. I remember being asked by the artists, like, hey, we're going to use you as inspiration for this piece. Do we have your permission? And I was in Boston at the time doing some shows, and I was just like over Instagram DM. And I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Not really considering that it was really going to happen,
Yeah.
then once they started working on it, they had like the like work in progress shots in the newspaper and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I can never go to that side of town again.
Yeah, your face is there. Like, I went down there a couple times. Like, whoa, I know that guy.
It's crazy, dude. I don't know.
You've definitely been like, I don't know if you know, like you're one of the pillars, I would say, of Rochester hip hop. And you've kind of like maneuvered in a way that you're not really seen unless you want to be. Very Doom-esque.
Well, yeah, there's this really strange dichotomy of like having the need to express yourself and the need to share your ideas, but also not wanting to be seen or heard. Like, I'm a very private person, but also like I must do those things. So
right.
It's really it's really tricky to navigate.
Yeah, it makes for great music, man.
So.
You remember FKC?
Yeah, Fat Kid Coalition.
Yeah,
what an idea that was.
Oh, holy moly, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, I wonder why we couldn't get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like that's like what music is now. But yeah, that would have been crazy in terms of
the basis of that idea.
Yeah, 3 styles coming together, making, in a sense, trying to make ridiculous music.
Yeah.
But still trying to hone our skill.
Yeah, we were trying to do that and do like a mixtape, but like the mixtape era is kind of toast now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would have been kind of fly.
Yeah, we went through some. I was talking to Vita a little while ago, and I was telling them we kind of lived through, I think, like one of the worst drug usage eras of music. And it was like, I would say, it was like pills were before, they weren't glamorized the way they are now, but they were still kind of like cool in a sense. Like you had like acid rap projects coming out. And I just remember being in we were in some places where some crazy stuff was happening. And I think we kind of lived through it. It's kind of cool to see people, hey baby, make their transitions.
Yeah.
Interviewing somebody right now, man. Okay. So this is my son Lyric.
Hey Lyric, how many kids you got?
I got 2 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah. I am full daddy husband guy now.
That rules.
It is quite the challenge, but it's cool. It's definitely cool. He's a rapper.
Yeah?
Rapper, musician. He's on 2.
Who's his favorite rapper? Is it a Lil Yachty?
No. I want to say it's probably Trolls at this point.
Oh, yeah. Do they rap in Trolls?
There's like Anderson .Paak's in the second one.
Oh, cool. And he's like busting a rhyme?
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Did they give his troll big ass teeth?
No, they didn't. They didn't put the hat on either.
Oh, okay.
But he's the son of George Clinton and Mary J. Blige. So yeah, a couple other things. I don't want to keep you too much longer. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the year 2020.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Just like in general?
How did it affect you? If you want to go into like your mental space a little bit.
Sure. 2020 started off in a really interesting way because 2019 was a really good year. All those things you mentioned happened, and I was kind of like on a high, on an upswing. And then, I remember like the shows at the beginning of this year were they were really good ones. And then because there was like momentum. And then it's like the rug got swiped out from underneath all of our feet. And then live performances stopped happening. And that kind of threw a wrench in the engine on all accounts. Like I remember complaining during that time, like, I'm doing too many shows and it's taking away from my time to be making stuff. But then as soon as there were no shows, I was like, I don't have any motivation to write because, I'm just like sitting in my house, and also, not being able to see people and see other musicians and like, there was just so little motivation to create. So long story short, I've had a not very productive year at all. I think I put out 3 singles, one of which has a video. I shot a concert for PBS. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Which, the way we judge music and musicians now, like for those few things to happen inside of 365 days seems like really unproductive, but it's probably I probably should be happy about it. But it feels like I didn't do shit this year.
Yeah.
And obviously all the other like big things happening politically and like socially and like really intense and in such a weird way. Because we've all spent most of the year being isolated and in solitude while all that crazy stuff is happening outside. I don't know.
And I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it would be interesting to hear based on like your background and ethnicity, like how did that affect you? Given all of that this year, it's been a lot.
Are you referring to like the
injustices,
police brutality in the news and stuff like that?
That, I mean, there's just been a lot of racial tension this year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, there's no way to escape it in America.
Fully.
I'm always interested specifically in men to hear how they've been dealing with it. I know I started therapy this year. And that was a huge reason. I just couldn't emotionally deal with certain things. I'm like,
Right.
So I would love to hear how it affected you in some of those ways.
Well, obviously, this. It's not like the first time that's been something. Every time you turn on the television, you see it. It's all people are talking about on Twitter and even conversationally. And being like a melanin impaired rapper, it's always been like a really tense thing to like. It's always been like a tense bush to beat around if you're not addressing it and you're out here like contributing to Black music and just taking up space. Eventually people are going to be questioning your whatever it is that makes you want to do it in the first place. So what do I want to say? I definitely felt the need to just like shut up and listen and take up less space and, put support where it's needed and to, not ask for too much from anyone. Especially this year.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Yeah, I gotta ask you this one, just because I know you. What about sports?
What about them? Like the absence of sports?
Just, did you have any thoughts on it this year? How they changed? Because I know you're like one of the biggest sports fans.
No. I mean, I definitely thought it was interesting that world was like turned inside out.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not one I've ever really paid attention to or cared about, but I've always had a strange relationship with because, most of the people I know are like really, they love football and basketball and boxing and all that kind of shit. Yeah. So just like the people around me sort of not having the thing that keeps them they kind of took the same L as I did, not being able to, see live music and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Where the reason I have such a strange relationship with sports is because that world has always felt very. I've always felt really excluded from it, like it is not welcoming. I don't know why I've always felt
it's
that way.
like, in a way, super testosterone, masculine, super, like it's extreme in a sense. And
or like wearing the wrong colors on the side of a stadium is gonna get like a grown man yelling at you, like that kind of shit. No, I don't need that in my life.
No, I detached from it a couple years ago with like the cap stuff, but it made me be able to see. Like, I remember taking my little brother to a Bills game. My little brother probably was like 5 or 6 at the time, and like just to see how they act and behave in front of kids. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, whoa, can't be that much of it. Like, where you're literally gonna like pee in front of a little kid on the bleachers because of like it's just crazy. So, yeah, I can see now how looking at that world from outside is like, yeah, hell.
Mm-hmm. I did consider buying myself one of those cardboard cutouts.
That would be great.
Like now's the time I'm gonna become a sports fan.
Yeah, like us. I love the bubble. So I don't know if the world knows. I'm sure they do, especially if you're a fan. You're kind of a nerd.
A little bit.
Definitely more. I would say I think more so than me. And here's why. I literally just started reading Dune. Mm-hmm. And I see like they're doing the movie. And when someone told me about doing it, it was like, oh my God, you lost your nerve. I cannot believe you've done this.
Because you came to it so late?
I had no clue what it was.
Well, I mean, it's a book from the 60s. You were busy not being born yet. What do they want from you?
I don't know. It's high pressure being a nerd. But with that being said, I'm like, what's one of your favorite comic runs? Like the last couple of years. Mine's being House of X.
House of X?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was really into that when it first started happening. It's not that I'm not into it anymore. I stopped going to my shop when you did it, and so I kind of fell off. But I'm about 50% caught up with like House and Powers and then the Hickman's X-Men run.
Yeah,
I got to the part with the old ladies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was really good. But I think my favorite thing from the past couple years is the Sandman continuation stuff. There's a Hellblazer that's running currently that's really good. And I think it's the same writer as who's ever writing The Dreaming. I think his name is Simon Spurrier or something like that. And it's it's not Neil Gaiman. It's not like reading The Sandman, but like a lot of the characters are there and like the feeling is there. It's like really cool and nostalgic to like be able to get that feeling again.
Yeah. Did you go read any of the Three Jokers stuff?
Any of the what?
Three Jokers.
No. Who was writing that?
I forget it. I mean, I don't know how much DC you read, but it's pretty much it's been Three Jokers running around the DC universe.
Is it tied to the metal? The metal series Snyder was writing. What was it called?
No, it's part of. They kind of tied in the Killing Joke.
Oh, okay. I do have the Killing Joke. I thought that was pretty good. I like that one more a lot.
Yeah, and then it's pretty much the 3 eras of Joker.
Oh.
Being like the classic Golden Age, Silver Age, Joker. It's kind of like leading them, and then there's the Killing Joke, so to speak, Joker. I forget the other one. But it's kind of cool. I just started it.
Who's writing the Three Jokers?
Hey. Thank God for Googles. Jeff Johns.
Oh, cool. I think he's pretty good. Jeff Johns wrote the Watchmen sequel.
Really?
Did you read that? It's called Doomsday Clock.
Oh yeah. Kind of what the series was based on, right? The HBO.
Oh, I haven't seen the HBO.
I haven't either.
But that'd be cool because the Doomsday Clock is kind of like the Watchmen world colliding with like everything. Your regular DC superheroes and villains and stuff, and it was pretty cool. It kind of like when you start reading it, you're like, oh boy, this stinks like a sequel. Like the beginning of Mighty Ducks 2, when they're like, we're getting the team back together, man. That was kind of what it was like.
All right, so I won't hold you much longer. I did find this song with Moses from a Giant Gorilla Dog thing.
Oh, tight. Yeah, I like that song a lot. Shout out to
super dope. I might play it as the intro to this because I feel like it's fitting. But last question I would have for you is one thing you would tell a friend to encourage them, and one thing you would tell a stranger to encourage them if you had the opportunity.
I would think I would tell both people the same thing, is to just figure out who you are and who you're supposed to become, and just lean into it super hard, and everything around you will make a little bit more sense. As soon as I learned that, I don't know, life just started to fall into place a little bit more.
That's super awesome. I feel like we can probably go another 2 hours, but I don't want to hold you. I thank you so much for this, bro.
Thank you, man.
I'm always here, so if you need anything, let me know. And,
thanks, man. Likewise.
Thanks for listening. I'll get in touch with you so it won't be another 10 years. And I interview to get in communication.
Hey, maybe I'll start a podcast and interview you.
I'm surprised you haven't. I know you did for a second.
Yeah, well, I have my own. I'm actually a third mic on the Chrome Bills podcast. That's been running for some years, but I just started co-hosting maybe 4 or 5-ish months ago. No, it's been really fun. I've been trying to get my podcasting chops up.
I really want to see you and just some comedy content. I don't know if it's like skits or something, but I totally see you. I don't know if it's a variety show, but you have that. I would love to see you start a YouTube channel.
Maybe we can produce the Shirtless Bacon Makers sketch.
CM. Yeah. Bring it back. That totally may happen.
Okay. Well, I know some people that's got nice cameras, so that's all we need.
Yeah, I got a decent one.
Bacon and no shirts. Piece of cake.
Yeah. Alrighty, bro.
All right, man.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
And thank you for doing the Friends and Strangers podcast.
Of course, man.
Where can they find you?
You can find me. My Instagram handle is Old Mosey Pants. Moses Rockwell on Twitter and Facebook. My phone number. No, I'm kidding.
And Social Security.
And all of my music is on MosesRockwell.com.
Dope. Make sure y'all tune into him. This is a wordsmith like no other. I didn't even get into how great he is and how many shows he killed us at, but thank you, bro.
Thank you, man.
All right, peace.
See ya.
When Moses was a little child, he cast off a cherubic light from his face. So his father turned to his mother and said, "Let's take this little child and thrust him into the Nile so that we might have normal lighting in here again."
The most impressive lab rat to date is being sedated in its beta test stages. May I propose mulling over all the metadata before you start to pick apart my makeup? Become better acquainted with my framework. The raising and the cleaving may awaken all my demons. The hack and hash will lead to your own lesions. That'll be fair, even decent. That'll be square, even Steven. And so your entertainment this evening, courtesy of science and achievements, is sponsored by lying and misleading. I may go over your head, I may take this into grievance. Fuck your maize and all sorts of cheeses. Most downtrodden pessimist.